Here we go. Take number 278. This is a lot harder than I thought. All right, my name is Agnes Richardson, and this is my Paratext Analysis of Thomas Dish's Camp Concentration, or my attempt at it. Although the novel was written in 1968, at the height of the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and in the aftermath of the alleged CIA experiments with LSD on unknowing subjects, I chose the 1977 edition, published by Panther Granada Books, because I felt that this cover lended itself nicely to some deeper analysis, especially with symbolism. The cover artist is uncredited. However, I thought this would be the best one because centered to the lower half of the cover is this metallic brain, and it is easily the largest thing in the image. So I want to start with our analysis there. This metallic brain is presumably Louis Sacchett's brain, the novel's protagonist, and it has wires tapped into it, and it's found inside a barren prison cell. In the reflection of the brain, it is evident that the mind of Louis is obsessed with freedom, for it's thinking about the mountains which are seen in the landscape beyond the prison cell. Sacchetti's obsession with freedom, however, is blocked and barricaded by multiple layers and levels of obstacles from the concentration camp. The first, more obvious obstacle is the cell window bars themselves. But the second, less obvious, is the U.S. government, as symbolized by both the small flag in the upper left corner and the guard with his canine guard placed directly to the right of that flag. Although Vietnam War ended in 1975, which is 2 years before this cover was published, the bad taste that the war left in people's mouths was still strong, so it makes sense that the publisher would use this sentiment in order to sell more copies. Finally, the third barrier that the prisoner faces is a faded fence beyond the guard, which leaves the prisoner feeling ultimately hopeless of physical escape. But as we know, by reading the story, the characters do escape, just metaphysically. And again, this is represented through the brain. Beyond the use of artwork in the cover, the publisher also placed a review directly centered beneath the title of the novel. The review was quoted by Ursula K. Le Guin, who was a very well-known, prolific sci-fi writer and poet, and she gave Dish a great review for his novel. This, of course, would increase the sales of Camp Concentration by enticing Ursula's followers to also read Camp Concentration. She seemed like a very big fan. Now, looking at this cover also made me question what's not included in the novel's paratext. Well, one thing that I found interesting is that almost every version or edition of the novel excluded a photo of Thomas M. Dish himself, which made me question why. You're looking at an image of Thomas Dish at the age of 28 when the novel was published, published in 1968. Now, some of the tenets that New Wave writers were well known for is an unprecedented degree of sex and politics used in their writing material. Looking at Thomas M. Dish, unfortunately, he's neither sexy nor does he look very smart. Kind of resembles a clown, if you will. Unfortunately for Dish, this is probably why they chose to omit his photograph in the paratext. However, he's got other things going for him, so I'm not really that sad for him. All in all, we see through the paratext analysis that the 77 edition of the cover truly embodies many of the tenets of the New Wave, with the obsession with the inner science of a human being symbolized by the brain, and a commentary of politics, including a dismissal of conservative bias. Thanks for listening. Hope this one works.